In my last video, I demoed ChefBot and its different abilities to help you cook any online recipe. If you haven't seen part 1, please check it out first before watching this continuation. Today, I will be using these 7 recipes, linked in the description below, to demo ChefBot's newest ability to transform recipes by performing sets of ingredient substitutions. The first transformation ChefBot can perform is turning any recipe into a vegetarian version and vice versa. To demonstrate, I will start with this meat lasagna recipe. First, I will show the initial steps, ingredients, and prep time to serve as points of reference. What are the steps? What about ingredients? What is the prep time? Great, now let's transform this recipe. ChefBot, can you make this vegetarian? As you can see, any non-vegetarian ingredients have been substituted for a vegetarian alternative. For example, ground beef has been replaced with brown lentils, and another ingredient, 3 cups of water, has also been added to use for cooking the lentils. Additionally, when we look at the steps again, you can see the instructions have also changed in both number and wording as a result of the transformation. Now we have additional steps on how to prepare the lentils in place of the ground beef. Finally, if we look at the prep time again, it has been updated from 45 minutes to an hour, reflecting the additional time it would require to actually cook the brown lentils, something the original recipe did not include. This functionality is based on a substitution schema I designed where you can easily add substitution pairings as well as the additional steps, prep time, and ingredients that those pairings may require. The next transformation that ChefBot can perform is turning vegetarian recipes into regular ones. Using this meatless pad thai recipe, we can see that the initial ingredients were all vegetarian. Ingredient list, please. Upon transforming it, ChefBot, make this recipe non-vegetarian. We can see that the tofu has been replaced with an equivalent amount of shrimp and is also reflected in the steps. The next 2 transformations that ChefBot can perform are turning unhealthy recipes into healthy recipes and vice versa. Using this beef burgundy recipe, we can see that there are several ingredients, such as beef, butter, and bacon, that have much healthier alternatives. So let's transform it. Transform this recipe to healthy. Now, if we re-examine the ingredients, we can see that the beef chuck was swapped for turkey thighs, the butter was swapped for olive oil, the bacon was swapped for turkey bacon, and even the beef broth was swapped for vegetable broth. Once again, these healthy transformations are also reflected in the recipe instruction list. Show me the instructions. Meaning users can immediately jump into cooking this healthier version. Our next example is a much healthier teriyaki salmon recipe, which we want to make unhealthy this time. Let's repeat the same process. First, we will look at the initial ingredients. Show me the ingredients. And then transform the recipe this time, making it unhealthy. Transform to unhealthy. Now, if we examine the results, we can see that this salmon recipe has transformed into a pork chop dish with many unhealthy ingredients, such as Worcestershire sauce instead of soy sauce, and molasses instead of brown sugar. Finally, we can quickly check again to show that the recipe steps are also updated. ChefBot also has the ability to transform the cuisine of a recipe to a different type, which in this case is South Asian style cooking. Let's start with this Mexican rice recipe. First, what are the ingredients? And then, if we repeat the transformation process again, change this recipe cuisine to South Asian. We can see that the ingredients of the Mexican rice, such as the jalapenos, rice, and cilantro, have changed to regional ingredients that are unique to South Asian cuisine, such as chili peppers, basmati rice, and spices, giving us a brand new dish. And as always, the instruction list has again adjusted to match this information. The last two transformations that ChefBot can perform are adjusting the serving sizes of recipes. For these two transformations, I will be using the same cheesecake recipe to demonstrate. First, if we observe the initial quantity of our ingredients, what ingredients do I need? And decide that we want a bigger serving size, we can simply ask ChefBot to double this recipe, please. And then we can see the new adjusted proportions of ingredients. Similarly, if we wanted a smaller serving size, we could just ask ChefBot to have the recipe instead. Cut this recipe in half. And once again, we can see the newly adjusted ingredient list. Finally, for this last example, I want to demonstrate the overall effectiveness of this functionality and how these transformations can be useful in tandem. So here I have this chicken thigh recipe that I want to adjust to a vegetarian, South Asian style dish. I can't find any exact recipes matching my needs, so I'll have to use ChefBot to transform this one instead. So let's take a look at the initial ingredients we'll need. And now let's start transforming, first making it vegetarian. Now we replace the chicken for seitan slices. Lastly, we can transform it one more time to reach our goal. Make this recipe South Asian. Perfect. If we look at the updated steps, we can confirm this recipe meets our goal and is completely different from our original recipe, using two sets of transformations to make a brand new dish that you can't find anywhere else. With this, we can get cooking. Thank you, ChefBot. See you next time.